I'm MegKaylee. I am a variety streamer. I play a ton of different games, and I also do on-camera hosting. And I have been creating content since I was 12. It started way back in the day with YouTube skits and things like that. And back then, oh, my mom's actually watching right now, so that's kind of funny. But back in the day, I used to never do anything like curse. Like I would never curse or do anything unfamily friendly. And it wasn't necessarily because I didn't want to, but it was because I was 12. So that's kind of still the age where like it's really bad to say bad words. You can't do that. No, no, no. And I didn't want my mom to like see the videos and get mad at me. And then I kept making videos. I started a different channel when I was a teenager, and that was more of a gaming oriented kind of channel, completely separate from everything else. But I still didn't curse. However, I was playing a lot of rated M games that still had a lot of mature content within them. So you could arguably say, you know, maybe my content wouldn't really fall under family friendly because of that. But then after I started streaming, I kind of just, there's no real filter with that, because with YouTube, you're editing and you're kind of like, I guess in some way posing things to look a certain type of way. Whereas streaming, one of the things I love about it is it's very unfiltered. It's just kind of you there hanging out. And I curse in my day to day and stuff like that. So I kind of became unfamily friendly as time went on.
Yeah, Benny, what about you?
So I've kind of always been family friendly. Well, you know what? Let me back up and respond the way that you asked to respond. I'm BennyFits. I'm kind of a variety streamer, but mostly focusing on I mostly focus on loot-based games, like games where there's a lot of diversity in items that you can collect, and therefore diversity in like build craft and ways that you can play. I mostly spend my time in a lot of looter shooters, like so Destiny, The Division, Warframe, games like that. And I've always sort of built myself as family friendly as a creator, but the games I play may not necessarily be. I recently kind of pulled back on that and said, okay, well, I'm going to play only family friendly games, and found that was a much more difficult process than I originally anticipated, and came back to the well, I will always be family friendly. I just won't work blue, but whatever happens behind me is what happens behind me.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a puppet. Sorry.
Also,
for those that might be listening
sorry.
and not watching, yes, BennyFits is a puppet. So I guess we should talk about our experiences too, Hunter. So for me, when I started streaming, I've always been mostly family friendly, I guess. I would swear a little bit, like here and there. I wouldn't drop F-bombs, but you know, I'd just like some mild swearing. And then after I think I would say like 2 years into streaming, I decided to just like stop swearing at all, because I felt it was just kind of like a pointless middle ground where I was like, well, I'm not saying F-bombs, but I'm still swearing. So I feel like there's no point. Like I should either just like swear or not swear. And
Pick
I just
one or the
chose,
other.
yeah, like not this weird in between. So I decided to not swear, but I'm the same as Benny with my game selection. And I play anything, pretty much anything I want. So the games aren't always family friendly. So we are actually talking about this on my stream today. I don't cater to children. I just have a stream that can be watched by kids, like if they're in the background or something, like, or I can be put on in a public space. Still dependent on the game, but so yeah, that's
which is an interesting kind of designation to think about, is where you actually show up.
Yeah. What about you, Hunter?
So before I ever started streaming, I was talking about, because I planned my whole launch out, and I was talking to some family members, and a cousin of mine who has kids had mentioned something about how their kids weren't allowed to watch Twitch specifically as much, because one of the kids had been exposed to some language and had started using it, not just on the internet, but on Twitch itself. And that caused me to create an initial designation of 18 plus. This is before they had the whole, selection where you could make it as a what do you call it? Like as a mature channel designator specifically, where you click on the rules and you say, oh, this is for 18 plus only. So I just had it in the rules, like you have to be 18 plus, whatever. In order to try to sort of satisfy this weird situation of not being able to restrict who could watch, but trying to indicate to parents or anybody else where I was. And it was really fascinating, this transition that I had when I first came onto Twitch. I was surprised by the vulgarity, and I myself was not immune. I would curse a lot in my own in my private life, but I was really surprised by how vulgar people were. A few months into streaming, that was 100% me. I was just like all in it, and I have tried to walk that back a little bit, but I wanted to maintain a space where we could have mature, presumably, it's the internet, adult conversations about adult subject matter. But recently, I've kind of wheeled that back in. I still want to have mature conversation, but I've tried to remove as much of the vulgarity as I can and craft a space and a community where that's a little or significantly more restricted than it was before. In terms of the games, I'm not going to really change what that is. But I'm now in the middle ground of not family friendly, but not,
Yeah.